some of you probably have an answer. How can we eliminate poverty? Anyone have a plan?
I think just come and join hand with ONPASSIVE and bless. That's it.
Yeah, but mechanically, how do you do that? Okay, you're in ONPASSIVE, we're in, I need a practical strategy. I'm collecting thoughts. Neeraj, you're wise. Tell me, how do you conquer poverty in the world? No one thought about that before? Chris?
Well, really good
don't
question.
go away. Don't sleep.
No, that's a great question. A really good question.
We have the will, we will do it, but how? So we want to do, we want to know the mechanics, the plan, ideas. How do we do it?
I would start up on a small scale, see what works, and build it up scale, and then move it from city to city to country to country. Because once you find out what works, it'll work anywhere.
Absolutely, Marty. Yes, even we in India, we founders over there, we have a plan like this also, that where you are living actually, just go in around yourself. If we are now like in 5 or 600,000, so go to your locality over there, not doing the whole city, but your locality, and see what situation over there, and analyze it, and then pick that thing. And so if every founder does like this, is then we have a greater impact as a whole over the society. I think so.
I think find a way to create jobs, Ash. Right?
Okay.
It's not about giving money to people. You're not going to get rid of poverty that way. But if you can.
Oh no! You have to have a sustainable solution. That
exactly. Right. So if you find a way to create jobs, that was going to empower the people, so that they have that solid source of income coming in. And I think that's something that can be done anywhere in the world. Just a matter of knowing the logistics, knowing what type of jobs are best suited based upon the population and so on. So it's a lot of work, but certainly I think we're up for the task, and we can do it. We have enough people around the globe that can work in their local community to see what makes the most sense and how it can be implemented. But certainly creating jobs will be a big part of it.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Creating jobs is one. Trying to increase literacy.
Yeah, but let me give you an example. Like some countries, for example, like Egypt, it's a fabulous country and all that, but illiteracy, I think it's 70%. It's huge. It's somewhere, or some other countries, but I know the percentage is like a big chunk of the population. So what kind of a job can you offer unqualified, unskilled population?
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying increasing the literacy rate, the rate of education or whatever.
So education has to be there before the job. Yeah, okay.
Tell you what, I got a great idea, Ash, for all the founders that are literally texting me with millions of ideas right now.
Exactly my thought, Chris. Why don't you open, like anybody can come in. Don't say hello or anything.
I'm trying
we don't want to hear. Like get in quickly. Give me an idea. I want to capture it. If anything catches my attention, it will help us add that to Oh Bless. We want to conquer poverty. No mistake. Okay. We can use all those ideas from the founders and see what's tangible and implement them.
Yeah, and sometimes that's when you conquer one thing, you actually create better for other things. In other words, like if you go out for the homeless, but you conquer poverty, you know, there's millions of people in the streets right now handing out blankets every night, giving somebody a cup of soup, giving people whatever they need, the unsung heroes that we don't see.
True.
If you could give them the tools they need, they know more than any of us already. So
Yeah.
if you could get them together and say, if you had the resources, what would you do to fix this street? And if you can get that, like another thing you hear about the homeless and working on the homeless, and I know a lot of people say, oh, I want to do it, but it's so massive because there's so many things that make homeless. But if you could take the homeless and part of creating a place for homeless or educating the homeless or whatever it is they need as a job also. So if your fellow man, by helping your fellow man, that becomes a business where he's creating wealth for himself as he creates a living for someone else. I know that sounds huge and all that, but you actually want to get a rotation of that guy that's on the street is different for the woman that's on the street or the next guy or the next guy. But if you work at it to find out, you know, like right now, there's some.
So you're
unbelievable
saying it's not one size fits all, right?
No,
it
no
has to
way.
be multiple programs. I see. Okay.
Absolutely. And the thing is, the knowledge that you're looking for, people have it right now because they're working with it where they're working with nothing to give something. If you can gather those type of people in a community service area or you're talking to a community service, get them in. There's a lady and a man right now that said, if I had $10, I could do this. If I had $100, I could do this. All the open vacant buildings, I could get a soup kitchen going. I can get this going. Another person would give you another idea. And there's people in Unpassive, obviously, that have the same thing. But money won't fix this. Money alone won't fix this. It just won't. But you got to get people that know. And you have people that know right now who are working with nothing, giving out blankets every night. But they only got 10 and there's 12 people without one. You give them the resource and ask them what they need. Let them be the hero and you feed them what they need in resources. And then you guide them. Like you said, Michael said it too. You can't just give somebody a home and not help them with the situation of why they wound up on the street in the first place. And many different reasons. But I think there's a way to do it small scale, get it right on street number 1, and then scale up to street number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6. And if you can do that, you can do it countrywide, you can do it nationwide, you can do it worldwide. I believe.
What I gathered between all of you now, you, Michael, Charles, and everyone, what I gathered is start small, apply a prototype or one example in one area, scale it, then replicate it, and focus on employing people rather than feeding them fish.
Yep.
Teach them how to fish.
Yep.
Okay.
And then the modification between countries, because there's a little difference in how they do things, what they do, illiteracy, whatever you want to call it. But if you can fix street number 1, you can fix any street in the world. But if you try to conquer many streets at one time, it's you never really accomplish anything. I would do, like you said, a prototype. Boom, this worked. Everybody sees it. What happens when it works? It spreads to everything else. You get more people involved outside of Unpassive. You start getting cities involved and governments involved because they're seeing, wow, this is working. You know, a lot of people don't get anything done because a blanket keeps you warm, but it doesn't get you off the street. If you get shelter over them, you don't need as many blankets. So you fix one street. Number 1 street is doing really well. Everybody sees it. You're starting to get notoriety, what it did for that street, and then boom, next scale, next scale, next scale, next scale. No use doing the work many, many times. Get it right once, and scale it up to masses. I've been talking to Chris about it a long, long time, and I just think it's more involved. A lot of people do the runway model thing.
I've seen you fired up before, brother.
Yeah.
I've seen you, but not this fired up. I love it. Like, you sound like you've been ready for the moment.
Oh, I'm not. I wasn't in on it, but the more I talk to Chris and everybody, and you watch it on the street, like even in my own neighborhood, and I'm thinking, man. And then I'm watching this guy drive up and down the street with a beat up car, and he's giving everything he has. That's the hero. It's not me. Even if I have apples, he's the hero. Give him the apples. Find out what he needs to scale it. I don't need to be that guy. But if I have the apples, I can give them to him and ask him, what would you do if you had the resource? Oh, I'd buy that building right there. It's only $1. And if you get that building, guess what? The city's going to be happy because you're paying tax. So it's a chain reaction. Now you're getting a street at a time. And now, you know, oh yeah, it just blows me away. I can see what it could do, but I think a lot of people think, I want to be an angel. I want to do this. It's not an easy task. And I think there's a lot of people that know what's going on now because they're doing it now while we speak. There's a lady and a man driving down the street in a beat up car. They barely have enough of themselves, and they're saving the guy on the corner. That person I want to find. Because if you make them a hero, because they already are with nothing. Sorry, I got on a rant here, but
look at it this way. Why don't we do it? Why not if we have a working method? Okay, why it can't be done everywhere at the same time? So what I mean is, if you are able to lift up one family, Neeraj can do the same.
Absolutely. But then,
and we do that, like everybody would do 2, 3, 2, 3.
Yeah, but you
and
get
if we are
together,
1 billion, that's 3 billion people, and we don't need to be the richest. We just need to be people who want to extend their hand.
You can always get back together with different communities or different countries and say, hey, this worked for me. Oh, I didn't try that. And then you're feeding off of each other at the same time. Yeah, obviously, yeah, that could be done. When I say scale, I'm saying scale maybe thousands of people at one time. But I'm just saying, once you get it right, I can talk to John in Tibet, whatever, and say, look, this is what I did. That won't work here, but this might, you know. So, yeah, it could be pretty powerful, actually.
Should I open the chat so founders can quickly?
Just I want to add 1 or 2 things which I feel I have seen this very good going on in India actually. Government of India actually from the last I think 10 years I think they have their Prime Minister employment guarantee a program over there for the poor people actually, and that is such a hit program that they get those people in villages and everywhere that they guarantee minimum employment to them, and then in place of them they pay to them for their work whatever is allotted by the government. So government create a certain amount of job like work for them, and those people, those who are registered with that particular Prime Minister employment assurance, so they people go over there and work over there, and they get paid according to their work 8 hours or 5 hours or whatever this thing. So that is going on very well over there. There are because India is there are so many villages in every state. It's like 60% of India actually lives in villages. So by doing that program, I have practically seen that many poor people actually they are now earning handsomely from that program itself, and that is like a government funded. But if in ONPASSIVE we create something like that, okay, we create some jobs and guarantees those actually people go and work over there, and then we are going to pay over them, and I think that will be a more viable solution, that in place of no doubt we are blessing it, that's also good, but in place of blessing, they are working and then earning. They are now more confident, we can say, and like they feel more blessed that they are doing something and then getting in. So that program actually is running very good. We can Google it and we can search it over it in internet also. It's from the last 10 years, people life in India, rural India, they have really gone up.
Gladys, okay, from Kenya originally. How do you fix poverty?
Hi, Brother Ash. Very
Hello.
nice to see you. Thank you very much. Nice to see everybody here. I think poverty is a very, very big issue around the globe, not one particular country, but I also
When we say
believe
poverty, that will eliminate homelessness with it, that will fix starvation, clothing.
yes.
Okay, all of that. Okay, so if we conquer poverty, everything is on track, under control. Go ahead.
As founders, we are more than 1.2 million founders, and you have given us the vision. So I believe that different countries have different needs that they need to address first. Some people, it's just, having the basic needs, like as basic as food on the table. Recently, I heard of a woman who had to sell her baby in order to be able to have something to eat. So those are short-term goals, but poverty will be much easier eradicated if we focus on long-term goals by training people with skills that can enable them to have sustainable income coming in, because by giving them just handouts, those ones cannot, yes, training of
Teach them how
skills.
to fish.
Yes, teach them how to fish, as you said.
Got
And
it.
also focusing on education of the younger generation, because if we help the older generation, we forget about helping the younger generation, still we are not solving problem.
Yeah.
So I think with the All Blessed, we can do it at the, even though we say as a smaller scale, we can replicate ourselves. Already there are many founders doing it. For example, in Africa, we have started a movement called Missionaries for Africa, which is comprised of only founders from different parts of Africa, so that we can focus on helping to eradicate poverty in Africa. In Kenya, we have that organization. We are working together with the General Organization of Missionaries for Africa. And also I had spoken to Chris Johnson. I've started one with a group of founders, one which is going to work with ONPASSIVE Angels. And then we have also started Oh Bless, another group from a different part of Kenya. So we have 3 groups in Kenya simultaneously trying to come together, so that if we work together, all of us as founders from there, we can do a lot. So I believe we have an opportunity to do that.
Key Wendell, do you have a plan for conquering poverty?
Thanks, Ash. Yeah, I think it's a multifaceted problem that stems. It's an individual problem. I think it has to be defined as why are they in a state of poverty? Is it lack of education? Is it lack of a job skill set? Or is it, from what I see most in my profession, is addiction? And I think if you bring somebody in, there's a program in my hometown, they bring individuals in that want the help. First of all, an individual has to want to not be addicted anymore. And
identify the cause first. That's what you're saying, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Identify the cause, and if it's addiction, help them get off of that illicit drug, street drug, and then build them up as an individual, give them the skill set to have a job, and there you go.
Does it have to be a job or a source of earning?
A source of earning, yes, sir. Same.
Yeah, that's better. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Leon or Chris Johnson, if Amanda. It looks like she has something to say.
I do have something to say. I'm in the kitchen cooking and I'm talking to myself, and my dad goes, "Who are you talking to?" And I said, "Well, I'm partaking in the conversation just with myself because I wanted to. I feel very strong about this topic. I'm a social worker, and a lot of what I do is providing resources to people. And oftentimes there's not resources really that you can offer people. So Mr. Ash, with everything you're having to say and what you want to do, I think a good place to start is just getting every resource that you can find on every little topic you can possibly think of. Homelessness, so you find shelter. Drug addiction, find a program for someone to go in so they can get clean. You know, food scarcity, is there a program in a country that can offer, you know, food, like food stamps or food closets? Get every resource you can possibly think of. And if you're thinking more so on a team base, fill your team up with social workers, because that's pretty much the main job that they do, is to provide people with resources to help them get a better life, whether it's, you know, getting out of poverty, finding food, taking care of their families. I think that would be a really good start, is just to find as much resources as you can, and, you know, build your support team up with people that can also help with those resources.
I have a
Everything.
question for Amanda, though.
Go ahead.
Okay, based on what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
So if we get, say, food stamps, so start to give them food, find an agency, right?
Mhm.
Find somewhere who's going to give them shelter, and all of what you just said, does that eliminate it, or does it make them more dependent on
No,
what,
and
you know, just collecting?
it definitely makes them more dependent on you, but there has to be a program in place that can, you know, you provide them with these resources and they have to meet these goals in order to keep not being so independent. So, okay, yes, you can have food here, but what are you doing in order for you to stay in the shelter and getting this food? Are you going out and finding a job? Are you providing them a job? I think there could be so much more, but I think that just listening after this conversation, you guys are thinking so broad that go to the most basic things first, find the resources, and then figure out all the nitty gritty, fine details to make them where people aren't as dependent on those resources. Give them.
We're not going to judge and conclude, right, at the moment, Charles. So we're going to listen to all that. Remember, Amanda, she's representing the traditional solutions that upon the educational system and the science of social studies and all of that. So we can take something, but obviously we're in ONPASSIVE, we're going to do something radical, disruptive, but we shouldn't ignore any idea. We should listen to all the ideas, and if we take, just like Amanda said, different resources, different identify the causes, and you know, it's a combination, as Kendall said, Key said, that we have to know the case of each cause of poverty, and upon that we deal with it. Marty said we have to scale it, start small, you know. We have to, like Gladys said, we have to equip people and give them a way to earn on their own rather than, you know, be independent. So I think we're all on the same page, but we want to take all the ideas, then we refine them in a way. And Marty said something, we have the knowledge, we can solve it. It just, we have to put all those ideas on the table. Why don't we listen to, do you want to say something, Chris, before we go to Cynthia or Janet?
No, but this is the start, guys, of organizing Bless. Thank you so much, Ash, for doing this, because people are really texting me. I'm trying to get him on the panel. I don't know how much time we got, but guys, any ideas that you have?
Until I hear my wife is saying you are divorced. Yeah, I'm supposed to be 30 minutes ago to be somewhere that is 20 minutes away. So I'm good. Who cares?
Go ahead, Ash.
I cannot let humanity down. I can let my wife down. That's what I've been doing all my life. I always let her down.
Hey guys,
Nothing
great
new.
subject. Great subject to post on O Network. What you feel, how you want to do things. That's some great things we could probably
Solution. We need solution. Enough talk. We want a solution. Go ahead. Hit it. Cynthia.
Hello, Ash and everyone.
Hello.
I agree with what Amanda said, but I think that, like, the system should be better. And because we are such a powerful company, I think that it should start with, like, our city councils and the mayors, and we
You're
have
in
to have,
charge of Philadelphia, okay?
yes,
You're the mayor today. You take all the decisions.
yeah,
You have all the support, all the supply, all the everything, okay?
right.
You command it. How do you solve it?
So you're gonna have to have a sit down with them and like figure out what is it that each city need, how do,
The poor ask them for a solution. Okay, got it.
yes, right.
Okay. Leon, you want to say something? You have worked, I think, also with the city.
Yes, I work with a lot of the cities, and yes, a lot what Cynthia was saying, but also I always thought about the sustainable housing because that also get people doing things within the little sustainable area because everybody is not going to be integrated to go back out into the work field right away, but you get them starting small, doing something, becoming part of something, and having a little place where they can meet. And sometimes you start with the people who don't want to be on the street, because some people have been out there so long and that they don't trust government. Everything is suspicious to them. So you got to start with the group people who want to be helped first. And once you start with those people who want to be helped, then you don't want to put a stigmatism, a homeless shelter, but you want to put it in like a sustainable village so people can come and start being participating, and then you get all the people involved. I believe you can get all the people involved. And as Cynthia was saying, there's a lot of government money out there also. They don't know what to do with it because they don't even, if the government could fix something, they would have fixed it. They have got the money sitting and they don't know what to do with it. But if we come up with a blueprint starting like a smaller basis, we can actually show the government we got a blueprint, and we can also tap into their money as well. And then we can start having the people who wants to be helped first. And we have so many people, I heard last time, that have so many background and so many experiences doing homeless shelters and things and working with homeless people. And then we can start assigning those people to the teams and getting the resources that we need for all the people, and starting on that small level first and build that blueprint. And then I think that blueprint could be put in every city. But then start thinking about taking the stigmatism off of homeless shelter, because if you do that, people already know that homeless shelter is the same everywhere you go. You go in and that kind of thing.
Thank you, Leon. Okay, so just to be clear, I am not typically like that. I would like to say hi, how you doing, Leon? Good to see you. All of that. Okay, smile, kiss, blow, hug, all of that. But I really, I'm behind, but I want to get as much as information as I can grab and process. Yeah. But then we will be at a different pace next time. So try to be ready. Janet, if you want to run. Tony.
Yes. So my ideas are very similar to what Leon's saying, but the aspects that I'd like to add to what he said is that I envision creating communities. These communities are almost like little cities. So you have houses, you provide housing, you provide education. The idea essentially is around reducing expenses. One of the biggest reasons why people are in poverty is because of their bills. So if you can eliminate those bills, and then what you do is within that community, everybody does their share. So you almost go back to the olden days where there's a barter system. So everybody has their responsibility, has their jobs, even the children. So the children are being provided free schools, which then provides free, parents aren't having to worry about babysitting or paying for that education. They know where their kids are because the kids live within the community. They can walk there. And then on top of that, while the kids are at school, what the kids are doing is they're cooking the meals for that night. So when the parents get off of work, so you have the social workers that are providing the jobs, finding the avenues of where people are going to go, what they're going to do in the day. The kids are being taken care of. The kids are learning to farm. So that every family also has their community garden where they're cooking, they're getting the food. Once the kids have finished their education, they are then taught to go and cook. They're learning to cook. They're learning to sew. They're learning, so they're making clothing. The children are learning to clean because within that community, they're going around and they're collecting the garbage from the different areas. I mean, it's literally an entire city where kids are being reared up. And
Wow.
what it also fosters is a community mindset. So children are growing up from day one till the time they come out of school, that they're learning that they're helping one another. Everybody helps each other to get along and live. So it's a true community mindset. And that
Thank you.
is something that, yeah, that's my idea in a nutshell.
Give me a list. Thank you, Janet. Great. Okay, Tony Monk, go ahead.
Hi, Ash. Thank you so much for
Hi.
giving me this opportunity. I appreciate
Indeed.
it. It's a very important subject. In most, I don't know, in the United States and Canada, we already have the resources in place. We have nonprofit societies that have, computers, clothing, food, the education that people need to get off the streets. The problem with these nonprofit agencies is that they don't have the financial resources to get more people off the streets. Government doesn't give them enough financial resources to help them out. So as part of the company, whether it's the Angels or Old Bless, if we could approach some of these nonprofit agencies and ask them what kind of resources they need, what kind of financial seed capital they need to get more people off the street, they'll probably give you a better idea, because these people are very intelligent. They're counselors, psychiatrists, psychologists, doctors, all kinds of different people. So if we approach them in these nonprofit societies, I think they'll give us a better understanding of how we can get, we're never going to eradicate the whole thing, but we will eradicate a big, huge portion of it for sure.
Thank you, Tony. Indeed,
And
absolutely.
let me just throw in there, just to remind everyone as they're making their comments, that remember, poverty is more than just homelessness, right? It's not just about homelessness. You have people who actually have a job, but yet they're still in poverty, even though they have a job. So let's just keep that in mind as we're making our comments.
Yeah, like I said, employment, unemployment, homelessness is one side of it, starvation, healthcare, so many, housing is a big deal. So you could have a house, not literally homeless, but still below the poverty level.
Yeah,
Okay.
these nonprofit societies, Ash, these that I was talking about, they're diverse in so many different situations.
It's
Some
not
of them
one
are for
thing.
addiction, some of them are for homeless people on the street for whatever, some of them are abuse. There's different kinds. So if we can just approach them and just ask them what they actually need, then they can give us a better understanding. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Agreed. All right. You want to hit it, Kathy? How do you solve poverty in West Palm Beach?
Kathy, unmute yourself, Kathy. Kathy, you're muted. Kathy, we can't hear you.
Ocho, you want to go?
Okay, I got it. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm on a different machine. I've been in Palm Beach County for over 30 years, and we have tremendous resources, but they have no money because the budget, and Tony hit it up the nail on the head, that the government has cut so much funding. But like, I'm thinking about Career Source. It's an organization that's in every community in Florida, and they have apprenticeship programs, they have job training, they have interviewing skills, they teach you how to interview, how to write resumes, whatever. But it's their people are turned away because they don't have enough staff to handle the people that want to come there. So it's really the money that is the problem, at least in where I live, and also the mindset. There are people that are on welfare, Ash, that don't want to work.
Yeah,
And
laziness. Yeah.
Yeah, and they'd rather just have another baby and get more money. And so change mindset, and that is something that is a big in my heart, and one of my parts of a bless.
Do you believe we would have a good chance, Kathy, that we will contribute to the solution somehow?
I think so. I really do, because I'll tell you why, especially in like Palm Beach County, where there are so much wealth and there is so much charity, people want to help. So if there's more funding in these agencies, they will come in and they will help too, if that makes sense. Yes, I believe so. I really do. I think people don't want to be on the street. I don't think that I'm seeing pregnant women on street corners and it kills me. Yeah.
All right, let's hear from Helen. Do you want to say something? One word? Okay.
Thank you, Ash. I'm so happy to talk to you today.
My pleasure.
Yeah, I appreciate everything you have been doing for us. Yeah. So I've worked with Save the Children, and we were taking care, trying to eradicate poverty, which we didn't go anywhere. But we're using what is called the participatory approach, that you get to the people, like in Africa, you talk to the people and in the community and ask what they really want, what is their need. And usually they're very happy and they'll give us what they really need in that village. And that's how we came to assist them. Some will need water, and they create wells for them and taps where the community will be getting clean water, and clean water will keep you healthy. There's a second thing that I wanted to talk about is farming, because there's shortage of food because the people cannot till large farm areas. So if we can get machinery for farming, that would be of great value. And when you have enough food, sometimes those who could cultivate, the food gets rotten because they can't get the food from the farms to the market or to the homes. They don't get enough. Most of the food gets rotten in the farm. So we need to create farm to market roads that they will carry the food and sell for money. Yes, and then you have education. You open schools that will train people to be more educated and they'll be more useful in the society. Yes, that's access to education. That's what we need. Thank you.
My pleasure. Absolutely. Okay, Bill Moss, do you want to say something now? Okay, come on.
Hey,
okay.
Ash.
Yeah, Della,
You don't
go
want me
ahead.
to say we
Yeah.
employ food workers and build a distribution center everywhere. Example of bless Amazon. That's what Bill wanted to say.
Okay.
Okay.
Beautiful. Amazing. I'm in the same direction. Okay. So here is just even if we talk and make it a ritual, like even once a week to start with, we want to start talking about that. We will get so many ideas and thoughts. Somehow we will mesh them and blend them and come up with what's possible and what's tangible. But make no mistake, there's some leader, founder will be sitting here and listening. And one day they're going to have a breakthrough. They're going to say, you know what, Ash, enough is enough. I'm done. Let's go. Let's do it. Okay, whatever it takes. So it takes a couple of people to take radical decisions and just have a mindset where we will find, we will go to hell and come back. It's no problem until we solve it without giving up, without easing up. So I do believe that we will come up with something. I don't think we're at a stage where we say exactly what it is. I have some ideas. I know it has to be a collection of multiple things. I do believe we have to start with something, make sure it works, then we replicate it. But more importantly, what Kathy said, we don't believe in the system in any way. So we don't even have the mindset that we trust it, or some of you said that. I don't think we're going to rely much on what's been done and not working so far. So it has to be a different concept. It has to be something fresh and new. What I envision is one place. Why don't we build a place? Okay, so it's not going to be Burj Khalifa. It can be a small facility starting in Dearborn or Michigan, Detroit, and something abandoned. We go, refurbish it or fix it, and you know, we put food there. The workers can be the food maker. They can have you know, decent wages, just barely to survive. But what we want to do is also have the education combined in one place. That's why a while ago said, let's come up with the engineers. I want somebody to sketch an architecture, okay, a facility where people come from one side, they depart from the other side. We don't know the time, but the faster the better. Basically put 100 people from this direction, they leave that way, they're equipped, they're ready. They used to be a week ago or a month ago, they used to be poor, now they have an income, they have you know, the resources or the somewhere to put their foot. And you know, that place has to include equipping them, whether it's some small duty, light duty, it can be phone work, it could be for those who can learn the computer and be able to operate, and customer support, sign up people, register accounts. Then we can have those who are good at, you know, physical work, chores, making food, selling, all of that. So we can have different departments, okay? So it's literally a place where we sell food, where we offer education, like a workshop, get day one. By the time you leave, you understand this business on passive, you're able to attract 2-3 other customers where now your business is covered. So how we can cover them. So you see, we already have the foundation of that. We don't need to go too far. But if we organize it to make sure we cover the education aspect, those who need to be, you know, to take some attention, you know, the addiction, all of that, but they have to be separated. Some people in the street, they have PhD, and you know, they got the brain, they got the knowledge, they got it. They're not in any addiction. It's just life got tough. So how can we kind of create different channels and different ways of equipping people? They come to the door, they literally leave with a career, with something that they can rely on and thinking positively. So how can we compress that? How can we physically plan it? All right, it's like it's like a production line. All right, you give from one point, leave from the other side, completely revamped, a new person, equipped, ready to go and conquer the world. Now they will replicate that, 2-3 people, and so on. Remember, we have 8 billion people. I don't know how many of them, probably 1 billion or 2 have a problem. Let them be the first and ONPASSIVE.
Have you heard, Ash, of the Venus project in Florida? Jack Fresco?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fresco.
It's a good example to eradicate poverty.
Mm.
You're stealing my story, Ash.
Yeah. Well, we're probably thinking along the line, but we're just brainstorming now, okay? And I took 3 pages so far.
Ash, can I say mine? I've
Yeah.
got exactly the same idea.
I thought I
as you
already
have.
said yours.
Okay. What happens is you buy multiple buildings.
Yeah.
You do now, all these homeless people are not idiots. They all have something in them that they can do. Vets can have their own security program.
Mm.
Others can have lawn care programs. Ladies can build dresses or stockings or gloves or anything. You put these people into this building and you let them become self-sufficient and give them back their pride. And they will be paying the bills and everything.
Yeah.
At first, we supply the food in that at first. Then they become self-sufficient. We give them an on-passive position as a reseller.
Account. Yeah.
And those that are addicted go in a different building
Yeah.
where we have recovering addicts like myself, who's going to be 38 years, using the program to bring them out of it if they want it. So I figure we can help at least, my point is 92%. Now, this is in countries like Canada and the US. When it comes to other countries, we need to build hospitals, schools, wells, show them how to grow food, etc., etc., etc. That's my plan.
Absolutely. Thank you. Okay, so I don't know what's the deal here. I see like more than 100 hands here. Is it okay? Why don't we just put all the hands down and ask, let's say 3 more, who can come, just give us a solution. You have to give us a solution, okay? You have to give us a solution. Everybody, raise your hand if you have the solution. Think if we do what you propose now, if we implement it, if we execute it, there will be no more poverty. Again, we're not talking about homelessness. We're talking about poverty and all, you know, poverty is a lack of resources, like lack of finances. It could be home, it could be food, it could be clothing, it could be education, lack of something. That's what poverty is. Shortage. Okay, so
have Thierry Ocho and Delia here. Thierry Ocho, have you had a chance to speak yet? If you could, please go right ahead.
Yeah. I think I already said to Ash
yes.
the Venus project, which were in Florida. I don't know at which step they are in, but radically, it's having no more money. So if you don't have, if you don't need any more money, you can eradicate poverty. But it's not that simple.
Yeah, of course, it's not.
And in France, with 67 million people, we have a concept. We have something that was put 30 years ago. Les Restos du Cœur. Literally, it's the restaurant of arts. And it is something that is helping nearly 1 million people a year with food. They are trying to do something with the shelter now, but it's quite complicated because they need a lot of money, and the governing body, European governing body, is not helping.
But remember,
them
we're
anymore.
unpassive. We're not looking for easy jobs, right? We're not looking for simple jobs. Yes,
I know.
So it doesn't
But,
matter how difficult, as long as it's possible, or it will solve the problem. We're not worried about the work.
Yeah, but the thing is that if they help 1 million poor people in France, it is nearly 10 or 11 or 12 million people who are poor in France, who are under the level of poverty. So, I mean, there is a lot of work to do. It's not only the Restos du Cœur that is able to do that.
Yeah, there's a lot of work. Yeah, but it's possible. I wanna agree with you on one thing. It's possible, and we'll do whatever it takes. Okay, Della, you want to say something?
Hi, definitely.
What's
Hi,
the solution?
how are you?
Good. How can you push a button and there will be no more poverty?
Oh, that is a very nice question, a very good question. For me, we need to eliminate the system that most of us are using, the limited negative old belief. We have to eliminate that. As I have heard you said, that we have to have a new system. It's not just outside. It's not just the system, the money or whatever, because I believe Passive is already have the resources. That's why I have 11 accounts. I intend to have 3 accounts to eliminate poverty in my own place in Bohol, because for those who doesn't know me, I've been really serving the poorest of the poor for 13 years now. And even if I don't have a job here in America, I still really serving them, not just in money, but emotionally and mentally. So to eliminate poverty, we have to start it on the ground, changing the negative, collective, limited belief. And before I came here, before Unpassive came into my life, I already have a plan and idea, and you just deliver it to me, this Unpassive. I'm very happy watching you doing what I imagine, because I'm going to use these resources. The resources is not the problem. It is the attitude of the selfish, negative people around the world. And I know you are the only one who can really save poverty by teaching. Education is important, yes, but we will not use the system of education that we have right now. We need to educate people, especially the children, the pregnant people, because the world is depending on the children. We cannot teach adults. They are always judging.
So education is a big deal, is what you're
yes,
proposing. Yeah, I agree with you.
Absolutely,
All right, and the
absolutely.
mindset.
Education, which is
Let's see,
education
Neeraj
is,
from India.
is
Do you know
organic.
Neeraj? Okay. Do you know
Yes.
Neeraj? Okay. I'm expecting to be, I'm going to take notes. He has a solution. Neeraj, what do you think?
Okay, for me, I have identified 3 reasons for poverty. First one is uh, like people losing job uh, due to COVID or maybe other seasonal activities. So you have to encourage on alternate employment, which is the whole calendar, which covers the whole calendar year, instead of a seasonal activity like agriculture, in which you are dependent on the rain and other natural factors. Second one is about health. Poverty can also happen because of health conditions. For that, you require clean water, good sanitation facilities, and provision of basic medical facilities, even to the rural of areas. So that is one of them. Next is about education. Generally, for that, I think elimination of gender inequality. What happens is majority of the women do not go to schools. All maybe it's the male population that go into schools, and what happens is they get married at a very early age. They have kids too early, and they are not able to maybe feed the entire family, and that's where the poverty occurs, according to me. So if we are able to come at the basic level and give education at the school level itself, the awareness level, I think we would be able to prevent poverty. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Neeraj. Okay. All right, Abdi.
Hi, Ash. I have a little bit story about a gentleman who actually won a Nobel Peace Prize from Bangladesh. His name is Mohammad Yunus. He had a very good, successful operation back in a couple of years back in Bangladesh, where he empowered people in like putting whatever the skills that the people have, just to give them a small loan and then facilitate them for them to go to action so they can actually fulfill their needs. And if they don't have the skills, then you still give them the the capacity to educate them or give them whatever their good trades or whatever they are. So in a couple of months or years, they will be able to go onto the workforce. That's one side I think might be to be looked. He might have read some books about this idea. He's a very well-known. He also won a Nobel Peace Prize. Mohammad Yunus, Professor Mohammad Yunus.
Yeah,
might be
wrote him down. He's from Bangladesh?
Yes, yeah. Bangladesh.
Thank you. Okay, Joyce Hicks, you want to say something?
Hello, Ash and everyone. I agree.
Anybody notice that she looks different, better, younger?
Oh my.
This will happen to you, Chris, Julie. Take a look. This is how you will look 2 months later. Okay.
You must have to sing Ash and everything just improved. It's like, oh my gosh.
Is it true? What happened?
It is so true. It's like after singing,
You look amazing.
Everything just went to the top, like, you know.
Wow.
Joyce, as always, you looked amazing. And Chris, don't let Ash give you false hope, buddy. Please.
It will happen, Chris. I promise.
Until we met, things have changed.
Yes.
Come on, Marty.
Always improving, Julie. Always improving.
All right.
Yes,
give
I
me
agree.
the solution. All right. What's the solution?
I agree with you, Ash. You know, as you said, build the place where it's all in one. Everyone can come in there, talk to the person, because everyone's different. They have different needs, different levels. Talk to that person, see what they need. Once you find out the need and the skill, as somebody have said, you build upon that and you build that person. And then you look at also eliminating, I mean, the welfare system, it hasn't worked forever. So eliminating all the governments, a lot of people don't trust the government. So kind of eliminating that, and also looking at mental health. Everyone is different. If we can improve a person's mental health, I'm a social worker as well, and I'm a therapist. If you can improve a person's mental health and improve their stress, eliminate stress and depression, you can't eliminate, but decrease it, eliminate the stress and depression, help to improve the mental health. And you can begin to work on that and begin to teach and coach people and model people as well, model for people.
You want to go like one-on-one, or?
You can do it in groups. We do groups, we do one-on-one. It's just that person. You can do big groups, especially with
groups.
With everything that's coming with OConnect and everything that's coming out. We have the resources to do that. We can have huge groups setting, and we'll be teaching and we'll be modeling, we'll be coaching people how to improve their lives. So it's so huge. There's so much that can be done with the tools that we already have, and with everyone that's within Unpassive, as we come together and put our ideas together, we begin to build upon each other. We begin to teach, we begin to model, we begin to put those things out there. We put it in the atmosphere, and we begin to teach those people. You teach them to fish, and they will become self-sufficient. So I think, offering them the Unpassive position, as well as they become, like I said, everyone is different. There's so many levels of poverty, so many areas that has to be touched, that if we could just begin, even if each founder begins to touch on an area and touch one person at a time, it's just one person at a time. If we can change the life of one person at a time, we can change so many. I mean, I'll keep talking, but there's so much to be done with all the tools that we have in Unpassive. We can teach thousands and thousands and, in one group, in one setting. And with all the tools that we'll have coming up, we'll be able to just do it for masses. And there's missionaries out there that are doing some of the work that we have. Missionaries at our church, they go out and they do so much that we can't do. They go into the communities. One of the missionaries, they went to a country, and where all the kids were collecting garbage, but they went out there and they began to model and teach them and talk to them, and got into the communities and began to show them how to build, how to take those resources. They began to help those children and build those relationships with them. And then they began to teach them. They built churches, they built schools, they gave them clothing, shoes. And now those communities are being self-sufficient, where they can run themselves, and the children are learning, the parents are learning, and they have people there that care about them. And when people know that you care, that's the main thing, because you can give them all the money in the world, but if they don't know that you care about them, you're gonna miss so many people. So I can continue talking, but I'm not giving someone else a chance.
Do you consider yourself a social worker? Because I want Amanda to see if she can relate to that.
Yes.
Is she listening, Chris?
Yes, I am a social worker. I'm a therapist. I do counseling. I used to do a lot of the community work within the community, but I don't do that anymore. I do like the mental health and the coaching, and as far as, counseling, therapy.
No,
And then
everything she's saying, awesome. I agree 100%.
She's in Michigan too.
Yeah.
I went right with you and Chris and Peter.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
everything you're saying is 100% true. And, that's where I was kind of going with, but I just got stopped. So
You were on point. Yes.
No,
you were.
yeah. If you have those resources in place, I was just telling my dad, if you have a website where you can go and it hyperlinks you to a resource that could help
Yes.
someone, it's a good start, and it enables you to help someone. But it's a start, and it's an idea to kind of somewhere to start and grow from.
Yes.
What I was trying to get. And and yeah, all the things of people do be dependent on your resources, and that's unfortunately how some people are. But like you're saying, you can teach them different ways to adapt and to learn, and hopefully they can be independent on their own.
Right.
So
Exactly.
I agree 100%.
Yes, I agree. I have a private practice here in Jackson, and I do counseling, like I said, but there's so much, as Ash, you said, like buildings out there. If everything is a one-stop, it's amazing. We could be within that building. We could have that Connect there. We're teaching right from that building or wherever that place is.
Yeah.
And as Marty said too, as you do it, then you guys said it too, you scale it up. You learn it, what works here, you take it to the next community or to the next country or wherever, state or whatever it is. And just continue.
Fantastic. Melvin, your husband, how's he doing?
He's doing well. He's well.
You still with him?
I'm still hanging with him. Even though Marty, he's still Marty. I tried to tell him, Ash, but he's still Marty's biggest fan.
I can't beat that. He went all the way to the top.
He went all the way to the top. I right.
Well, say hello to him. It was really a pleasure
I will.
connecting
Thank you so
with
much.
both of you.
Thank you.
All right. I see that Wasim is awake in Pakistan. Salam alaikum, brother.
Walaikum salam. Sir,
Tell us,
you?
how can we solve the issue in Pakistan?
Yes, I just finished my sehri, and I was watching you as well. And like other people, I have many plans like education, health, homeless people, and special child people, children's, and many things. But being a Muslim, we have to pay every people who afford annually zakat, 2.5% of specific amount who has gold and silver. And if everyone implement this, every affordable person implement these things in our life, no poverty will remove in everywhere. And before this, I saw in other business before ONPASSIVE, the concept was different, and rich become more rich, and poor become more poor. And the ONPASSIVE is the first company that talks about mutual benefit and about other people. And if we set a certain amount of our earning in our every founder, and we will spend this amount to others, no matter where we will spend this amount, but I think poverty will remove. But
I want to wish you and your family a happy Ramadan Mubarak.
Yes.
We'll talk to you next
Ramadan
time. I want to
Mubarak.
hear from a very wise lady, Willow. Can you tell us what you think?
Thank you.
Oh, Ash, I'm not going to turn my video on. I've been out.
That's okay. I want to focus on the message.
And you don't want to see me in this car. But I want to tell you, there's so many faces of poverty. It's not just one face we're looking at. We all have our desires to uplift humanity. However, I think that Joyce Hicks, Amanda, and my friend, I have 3 people on my team that are absolutely in the streets all the time, working and helping lift humanity up like you are, Mr. Mufareh. However, I think that we have a tendency here, we could become so scattered that we wouldn't really get a whole lot done if we don't start focusing on the needs of our own community. To be community driven, not world driven necessarily. Like, I want to help Native American reservations, and that's my big dream. My father grew up in horrible conditions on the reservations. And so I have 3 reservations that I want to devote, like Adela was talking about, some of my extra founder positions. So the money goes directly to them. You know, I want to do that. But I also think, like Joyce says, there's this whole group of areas that we have to focus on. One is mental health. You know, you got to divide, I think, the programs into divisions, because there's seniors that are out there that have lost their homes because of medical bills and things like that. My husband and I just hang on by the skin of our teeth. Both of us have had heart problems. I had a heart attack last month. And so we are paying through the teeth for medical care. And I barely made it out of the hospital without having to hawk my drawers, you know, needless to say. It is terrible out there. And so what I would say,
I mean, you sound great, actually. Makes me
thank you. I want
feel
to
like
say,
I want to have a couple heart attacks. Like, wow, you look amazing.
no, darling, don't do that. One of the things I really feel strongly about, and I've told you this before, and I'm not trying to just give you kudos, Mr. Mufareh. No one has reached out to the average everyday person like you are doing. There are people that are working 3 jobs and are still below the poverty level. And so I think if I was going to push education, I would push education in the trades. Plumbers make more money than you can believe in the world right now. And we've quit putting our people, like in high school, they used to teach kids how to build, how to, you know, help themselves. They've taken all of that out of public education. But we could put something back into the educated field, like teaching them a trade that they can work in the city, plumbing, drywall, all of those trades pay very, very good wages because they're all they're unionized jobs. And so we could do something like Mr. Ash suggested. You know, we could have a building, hey, listen, we could get you a job hanging drywall for 6 weeks, but you got to take that money and you got to put it back into your fund to provide for your housing. You know, any programs like that will work, but we got to do it by community. Each community is a specific organism all on its own, you know. Philadelphia
Have you thought
is
or
different.
considered that you, if you're where you want to be financially, would you employ others to
Absolutely
help assist you? Okay.
I'm
So I
already
want
gonna
every
hire
founder
my
to think
neighbors,
of,
you know.
just thinking, what if you employ one person? You don't
That's-
have to be in the business, but if you just employ one person. Yeah.
That's the way I figure. My husband and I were going to take our neighbor who has worked all his life in the buildings trade. He's an absolute genius at gardening, and we want to grow food for people, you know. And
Are you
so,
enjoying listening to other ideas, like you
oh my
said, Della
God,
and
I'm
all
so
that?
excited.
Okay,
I
so
want-
why don't we listen to more? We can't
Please.
have enough, like Lystra. Okay, let's listen to Lystra. What do you want to say?
Hi, Ash.
Hello.
Yeah, I was wondering if we can think about a facility to help some of these people that's on the streets, or even if they are in a shelter. I have been there with food and clothes and so on, and I find I don't know if it's because they've been out in the streets, but they are disturbed. Okay, so a facility to help bring them on track again, like with shrinks, doctors, nurses, and so on. That will help these people find out where their head's at, because a lot of them are disturbed. And I think that's the main reason they're there on the streets. You know, some of them, not all of them. So a place where they can come and get medical help and meds and so on if they need it. That has been on my mind, and I think that would be a great idea.
I agree. All right, we have one more last speaker. Who would that be? A
Thank
lady
you.
would be nice.
We have Marcian
Marcian, you want to say something? She was here.
Hamabu.
While she's gone, anyone else? You want to take last?
While you're doing that, Ash, I mean, what you
She's
just
back.
said.
Okay.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Maybe you can say what you want to say and she get ready. Michael, go.
Yeah, I was just saying that, like what you just mentioned about founders employing someone, you know, and, you know, to me, you know, that is the solution. I was just having a conversation with the founder back and forth. And what I was saying is that, you know, we can't rely on governments and all institutions and all of that. I believe that it has to be done privately, and that every single founder is a private company, right? Every single founder is a private company. And so as such, right, you can employ others, right? For example, you know, I always tell my wife about stimulating the economy, right? That, yeah, we pay to get someone to come and shovel our driveway. Not because I can't go shovel the driveway, right? But it stimulates the economy.
Opportunity.
Right? We pay
yeah.
someone to come cut the grass. Again, not because we can't go cut the grass, but again, it stimulates the economy. So there's things that we can do as individuals under a company umbrella whereby we can employ others. It's not a difficult thing to do. And then we will do a good job as being the employer in the sense that we're going to pay them more than they deserve. We're going to pay them more than their fair share or whatever the going rate is to make sure that they don't need to have 3, 4, 5, 6 jobs, right? It's just not necessary. And then now they can actually be a family again because the funds, right, are there and it's sustainable because ONPASSIVE is sustainable. There's a lot we can do, Ash.
So now you understand why I say to our employees, you cannot have a founder position, you cannot register with ONPASSIVE. Now you understand why those work with me, all areas. You've seen some of them. I don't tell them about the business. I don't invite them because I want them to continue what they're doing. We don't want everybody to be in our business. All right, last message from our sister, Marcian. You want to say something? Go ahead. How do you think we can minimize or conquer the poverty issue globally?
Thank you so much, Mr. Ash, for giving me this platform. Thank you to all the Leadership Council and to all our funders. And from where I came from, Cameroon, basically, the level of poverty is not going to be solving the same way like in the United States where I live. People have different issues. And our level of poverty back home, education first, because if we believe that if we train children from little age up, giving them good education, and the parent, most of the time they don't have home. We have what we can have transition homes. Transition home for them, roots, because where they have development, where they have root, they have development. We don't have root, we don't have water, we don't have food. So if we have to change the way that people have to live, we have to start by giving them at least good drinking water. We are having cholera going on now in my country. People are dying from cholera right now. I'm talking to you, Mr. Ash. 150 people a day that are dying from cholera at this 21st century. So if the neighbor has one bottle of water, is not enough. So I think that for us, where I came from, to eradicate this poverty, we have to start by changing people's life, by giving us drinking water, light, good school, and if we have all those things and transition homes, we ourselves are going to help a lot. I'm in a project, Bright Light Project. We are doing some of those things, but we don't have enough resources. We are putting girls to training to do some work. So if we can go from there, it's going to be good for us in Cameroon. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you so much. So yes, start thinking, how can we have one, like almost like a production line? You know, we get in from one place. It's a strategic process where we get in academy, give them the education they need, at least to manage their ONPASSIVE business, get their basics covered, whether it's a business account, how to function. You know, it could be a device we give them. Create that OBLESS tank where we can fund this process just to get them off the ground, have the business, have the tools, and then obviously replicate that so they will be completely independent, where they have their own income, and then keep on that cycle. So I think, you know, we sound like we're, you know, from the same background, that somehow we agree on almost all the thoughts. So we just need to get more sessions and get more technical. Like, we want exactly to design one model. We're ready to go tomorrow. We will execute that, we'll make it happen, and then study, observe what happens, and then from there we take it. We repeat it, or we learn the mistakes and we do it. We are ready to start. OBLESS is already on. But again, that's not conquering poverty. That's helping, you know, easing the pain a little bit temporarily. But if no way we're touching the whole concept of poverty at this stage. So we want to go to another step with OBLESS, with Academy, offering the ONPASSIVE products, tools, and resources. How can we use all that, and how can we align it and streamline it where somebody can come from the door, get some education, free or affordably, and then they walk away a completely independent family or individual. So this can go on. I just have a very, very, very good conviction that we will make an impact. I don't know how much of it, but I think if today I can see that we will make an impact, I think in 10 years time from now, we're going to say, anything left? We probably will be checking if there's anything left. So we will do our part, and just think of it, just impact one, two. You can employ one, you can help one to get in the business if they have the potential. You solve two, life is good. All right, I will see you next time. I don't know if we're going to meet before Wednesday, ONPASSIVE 360, noon Eastern time. ONPASSIVE 360, just after 2 days. I cannot sleep. All right, have a good one.